So my name's Adam Quinn. I work at Simulmedia. I lead sales at Simulmedia, and I'm joined by, Jordan Friedman over there, and Aaron Brum over there. And we're looking forward to meeting everybody and a great couple of days in Vegas. And thanks for letting me take some time from your lunch. I'm gonna talk, I jumped, hold on. There we go. All right. I'm going to talk about premium video, and premium video is an advertising delivery mechanism, and specifically connected TV and linear TV and how effective that can be and how fragmented that space really is. Next slide. Yes. All right, so this is taking a look back at the last 70 years, which is really when TV became a thing, right? In the 1950s, there were 4 million TV households, it's hard to believe, and there were 3 main channels to reach people across those 4 million households. That was a luxury, right? You could buy one spot in the broadcast networks. You could do what was called a roadblock, and you could basically reach all 4 million people and move them to respond to your brand in some way. Fast forward to today, and we now have 122 million TV households and 250 or more channels and publishers across the premium video landscape. So the audience is incredibly fragmented, but still very much there. And all of this is really great for us as viewers and consumers because we get to pick exactly what we want to view, and we're super engaged in that environment. But it's very hard on marketers to find the right target and to move them to action around your destination or your brand or whatever it might be. Add to that the notion of user-generated content that more and more is infringing upon traditional kind of high production value content that's out there. And there's a massively engaged audience there that continues to add to the fragmentation. It's incredible how many options there are for consumers now to get premium video content. And so CTV advertising and linear advertising, and really the notion of premium video advertising, is a high engagement environment. It's indisputably the best way to reach people, to get them to consider your brand, to interact with your brand in some way, to move all the way down the funnel to intent, performance and conversion and new customer acquisition. And the scale continues to be there, as I just mentioned, because everyone is able to consume premium video. It's just that they're all over the place these days. That was a funny build. All right, so taking a quick look at how that audience continues to fragment, this is Nielsen's Gauge report that's released on a monthly basis. This is looking back at January, and at that time, 55% on a daily basis of people 2+ were reachable via linear TV still to this day, and 45% were reachable via streaming. That was in January, and just to give a sense of how fluid the audiences are, fast forward to February, and CTV streaming in the larger publishers actually lost 4 percentage points, and that 4 percentage points moved to streaming other, and the other represents the hundreds of smaller local publishers that are now producing really great premium content and stealing audiences from the main streaming partners. Meanwhile, overall, 1.5% of share points moved from linear TV to CTV. So we know this audience is moving very fluidly between this giant premium video ecosystem. And in the industry, we're not really making it any easier to activate a premium video campaign. In order to get live with a premium video campaign, you have to talk to many, many partners across the ecosystem. This is just a quick snapshot of everyone that you can contact to try and figure out where your audience is and how to reach them and cobble together, a massive campaign to reach as many people that fit your target as possible. And the reality is that a lot of CTV advertising is dependent on ad tech technology that was developed in a digital kind of banner-based marketplace where supply way outstrips demand, and it's not ideal for reaching and engaging with a strategic target. And so that was really good at driving down pricing, but it started to hinder scale. And what's happening now is people are taking a lot of those tactics from digital and just migrating them right over to CTV. And that's not the best way to do this when you have a more demand than supply in a premium video environment, and you have an opportunity to recognize viewing behavior and other data sets to make sure that you're finding the right people in that kind of massive premium video environment. Because the reality is, nope, how do I go back? The reality is that as consumers, we don't distinguish between CTV and linear, right? We sit down, we put on the content that we want to watch, and then we just call it TV. And so we need to think about CTV and linear and finding audiences more the way that consumers actually interact with the content that they're consuming. Here's some other recent highlights in terms of CTV penetration. 93% of American adults are now consuming streaming content, and cable subscriptions are actually down to 40% of overall penetration. So that's incredible to think how quickly that fell off a cliff over the last couple of years. We're now spending $50 a month on CTV subscription content. For those of you that were around in the early days of going a la carte, there were fears that when you broke up the cable bundle, you'd end up paying more for your content. I think we're kind of there, especially if you still subscribe to linear cable. And 21% of streamers use a borrowed password. And so this makes it even harder to understand who's where and what they're watching and who they actually are. Meanwhile, the scale continues to grow. We're now up to 24.5 billion streaming minutes daily. I remember I was at Google for a little while, and at that time, we were really proud to say that there were 1 billion streamers on YouTube a day. Well, now we're at 24 point, and that was 15 years ago, and now we're at 24.5 minutes streamed every day. And most of us use 5+ apps to find content in the streaming environment on a daily basis. So again, just leaning into that notion that the audience is so fragmented, it's hard to find, but it's there and it's really valuable, and you can engage with them and move them to consider your brand or your destination. And so at Simulmedia, what we do is we're really built for that fragmentation. We're built for that consumption and that fragmentation in premium video. We pioneered and really invented the data-driven linear approach about 15 years ago. In the last 4 years, as we've watched the audience migrate over to CTV, we've brought on our CTV capabilities to make sure that we can find an audience in any premium video environment and move them to consider your brand. And so we deliver certainty around working together on who you want to reach and making sure that we're using any data point and any data partner we can bring to the table to make sure that we're finding them. We deliver we deliver efficiency, and in efficiency, what we mean there is we leverage our position in the marketplace to make sure that we're paying the right price to reach those people, but we're also looking to manage frequency. So if we're reaching the right people, we want to make sure that we're not driving up frequency on them, and by having a full view of CTV and streaming with linear, we can navigate that whole premium video environment to make sure that every spot placed has a chance to find new viewers and new potential customers. We deliver speed, and by that we mean we use the most recent data to understand and predict where audience will be for an upcoming campaign, and then we get a campaign live within days. We do that cross-channel, we do it all day long, and it's very effective. And then we deliver transparency. So with any measurement partners that we can bring to the table, we want to show you who you're reaching, how they're responding. It gives us something to optimize on for the next campaign and to really just drive more effectiveness throughout the campaign and for your brand. So that's it. Thank you for taking the time. Enjoy your lunch, enjoy Vegas. Looking forward to meeting everybody we can over the next couple of days, and enjoy.